Thank you, Reverend Moore, for that great meditation. Well, today we're going to talk about... is it? Okay. See, the button's different. Okay, I think I got it now, don't I? Yay! All right. My other little fanny pack went the other way, the slider, so I was sitting there thinking about it while we were singing. Anyway, this message actually came to me a couple of weeks ago, and these last couple of weeks I've been really processing it, and I discovered that there were some things that were triggering things for me. So I just wanted to share that because, you know, it could be that you will get some triggers from this too. I'm not sure, but don't worry if you get an uneasiness within you, because I think it is the idea that, you know, God is pushing forth a new idea or a new expression of you when we get those feelings. So I wanted to share that because even today, the synchronicity of the music being changed for the first of the month, and just picking the special music, and then the meditation, and even the daily word just was aligning with everything. And when I looked at the whole thing on the PowerPoint, I was going, wow. It was almost like I had taken and placed everything in place. And for me, what was powerful about that was the idea that we know we are one. We know that God is in the midst of everything because, you know, how it all falls together. And without us pushing or shoving or making it so, if we allow it to be. So anyway, we're going to talk about healing today. And I want to share with you first this quote from Adam's Smashing Power of Mind, which was written in 1949 by Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity. And he wrote, "The majority of cases that come to us belong to the class of the discouraged woman told of in Luke 8:43, who spent all of her living upon physicians and could not be healed. Doctors have pronounced them incurable, and as a last resort, they turn to God. The hardest part of working their healing is to get them out of their minds the verdict of the doctor that their cases are incurable. We have discovered that there are no incurables. With God, all things are possible. Any experienced metaphysical healer will tell you that he has been the instrument through which all the popular diseases, I'd like to say, have been healed." So today we're going to study the formulas of the Fillmores, Charles and Myrtle, and we're going to see how those show up in our lives today. But we're going to begin first with our statements of truth, if you'll say them with me. I am a child of God. I am deserving of good in my life. I am accepting my good now. Thank you so much. So when we talk about healing, what is it that we're expecting? You know, we say, I want to be healed, or I want something changed in my physical beingness, whether it be weight or depression or any of those things. What is it that we're expecting? You know, are we expecting instantaneous healing, or are we seeing the progress that is being made on a daily basis? All of these things, you know, come into our minds, and I could stand up here and preach all day about health and wholeness, but there's things we have to do in order to allow that to resonate with us and actually manifest through us. The thing is that we can allow doubt and fear to get in the way, or maybe even the physical pain of whatever it is we're suffering from, whatever the situation is that we are suffering from, that we choose to suffer from, because suffering is optional. So whatever it is that we choose to suffer from could be the thing that is in our way to that perfect health and wholeness. What we do when we do that is we block God's energy, that natural energy that is coming through us, that is here to heal us, that energy that is supposed to do what it is supposed to do and bring us forth into that perfect beingness that we are. Fillmore gives us this in Dynamics for Living. All healing is based on mental cleansing. When the mind is free from error thoughts, harmony in the body ensues. Permanent healing is never accomplished until the mental cause of the disease, the error thought, is removed. The true way to heal is to find the mental cause and destroy it forever. But how do we find the mental cause, and how do we destroy it forever? Because it seems like some of these things just keep coming back and coming back and coming back. Well, I say there's always brain surgery. Okay, just kidding. But okay, in all seriousness, we do need to look at the underlying cause of this fear or this doubt or the pain, and we need to see what it is all about. Now, sometimes we might not even realize that we have fear or doubt about something, let alone relate it to the pain. We just know we have a situation. Dr. Barber, would you mind closing that door on this side because I'm getting a glare off that car? And Gregory and Shirley are looking like they're offending. Maybe they are. They already got the message. Here they go. Well, we are one in mind, you know. You can pick it up that way. But anyway, back to, sometimes we don't even know what the situation is. Perhaps our situation is a pain in our hip, you know. My grandmother always called this a catching your get-along. You know, when you start to get up and then you're, oh, like that. I never had that when I was younger, but for some reason it came along. But Fillmore, and I've shared this probably a year ago, Fillmore relates that to the sciatic nerve. He said that man's will works directly through this nerve. And so it would follow then that if we are trying to make our will the most important thing in our life, then we could end up with a pain in our hip. You understand? Because we are forcing ourselves to do what we want to do instead of listening to guidance from within. And it can show up in your body as pain. Now maybe your mental cause is reflects back to not forgiving someone. And we could be holding on to a painful experience that happened which we can't seem to get beyond or move beyond. We're stuck in that mode of the idea of that unforgiveness. Or maybe we have some hidden pain. Maybe it's not even evident to us at this moment. But we can grab hold of that, and that can actually settle in the heart area, believe it or not. Because that heart area is the power of love. And if it's settling in that area, we can end up with heart pains or heart problems or even anxiety or the depression because our heart isn't working properly. It's being burdened by those ideas, that mental cause that is causing that discomfort. And the reason why we need to forgive others is not for the other person. It is for ourselves. That's what switches that whole concept for us. Now I ask each of you to think about this. If we can hold on to these things that do not serve us, for not forgiving somebody, you know, that pain in our hip that is because we are forcing our will to be the way it is. We want this to happen, we're going to make it happen, and this is how it shows up in our body or our life. If we can build those kind of situations, what we're doing is creating a wall between us and God. And those conditions represent separation from God. We're separating that oneness, that one idea of all of us being one in God. We're separating it by that wall of ideas and mental causes that break us loose from that idea of God as the allness of God. Because we're coming from a place of lack. Whether it be lack of forgiveness or lack of thinking in a different direction or whatever it is, we're holding on to these things and we're building a wall of separation. And what that wall of separation represents is a lack of faith. What we need to do is change our thoughts. That mental cause, we've got to change the thought. And how do we change the mental cause? I love this picture. It's a little guy, you can't see it that well, washing the brain with a scrub brush. But anyway, this is what Fillmore gives us on this how-to. A good healing drill is to deny the mental cause first. The mental condition should first be healed, then deny the physical appearance. That pain or that whatever it is, too much weight, you know, not the right face that you think you have, or whatever it is, I don't have the right hair. Deny that power that you're giving to that negative sense of self. Then the secondary state, which has produced in the body, must be wiped out and the perfect state affirmed. So once again, we look at a tool that the Fillmores defined for us many years ago, which is denials and affirmations. We deny the power we are giving to a situation. It doesn't mean we deny that it ever happened. No, we're denying the power that we are giving to it and letting it control our lives. Do you understand the difference? Do I hear a yes?
Yes.
Yes. We have to stop giving our power away to something or someone that is not serving our highest good. We have to claim our power. We have to take back the power that God so freely gives us because it is for us. And when we do that, we open up this vacuum within ourselves that we can fill with the truth. And that's when we affirm all that is true for us. That is when we open up a whole new place for us to be. Now, these actions repair that disconnect with God. It takes down the wall of separation. It makes us feel more of the oneness that we have within us that is God, and we can rejoice. And that was what I was experiencing these last 2 weeks. Because even writing this message, and as evolved as we think our ministers are, we still come to these places in our lives where we have a growing edge and where we feel it. And I was feeling it physically, emotionally. I mean, it felt odd to me to be in that place at this stage of my ministry. But yet once I discovered what it was, I was rejoicing because I knew that something more was coming for my highest good. Because once we get in that shift and we accept it and we go with what God is pushing us to do, it's amazing. Some more good comes to us. And in that, we can move forward to understand that health is a natural state, a natural source that is ours. Health is ours naturally because we are the expression of God, which is perfect health. Wouldn't you agree with me? Isn't God perfect health? And if we are that expression of God, then we naturally have that source within us to express as us. And when we do that, we know that it is perpetual. It's not every other Tuesday, or it's not on the mornings that we want to get up with joy in our hearts. No, it's every single moment of every single day. And it's our choice to claim that or not. And that is the basis of our focus today. That idea that can we claim that for ourselves? Can we have the faith that we know that we have and express it out in the world? And that's where we're going for. So how does all this and faith relate to health? Well, I'm going to share another quote from Fillmore. It says, "The great modern revival of divine healing is due to the application of the same law that Jesus used. He demanded faith on the part of those whom he healed, and with that faith as the point of mental and spiritual contact, he released the latent energy in the atomic structure of his patients, and they were restored to life and health." He released that latent energy. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, well, Jesus did do that. We all know that. We've all read the Gospels, and woohoo, Jesus, woohoo. But you know what? We can do that too. We can. That's what Jesus was teaching us. We are just as great. Can you soak that in? Yes. You see, Jesus, what he did is he found his divinity, his Christ within, the exact thing Reverend Warren was talking about in meditation, and he realized his oneness with God. And so can we. We can turn on that energy that is latent in us. And believe you me, every one of us, including me and Reverend Warren, have latent energy in us that is God ready to express. Because if we were expressing it all the time, we might be ascending. Who knows? But at least our world would be a whole different place, I'm telling you that much, if we stir up that latent energy. And that's, again, what was happening in me. That latent energy was laying in there, and all of a sudden I felt moved to be able to express it. This isn't even in here, but I'm going to share this. Bonnie became a wellness call. Bonnie, raise your hand, wave. Became a wellness call person, and she called me the other day to pray for me. And I'm not kidding you. When she started to pray, and Bonnie, you are really a good prayer. Anyway, I felt the energy of God coming in and through me, and it was expressing out of me as stars in the universe, and it was so powerful. And I could tell that she was so sincere and so centered in expressing God, and that's that latent energy we need to express. And when two or more are gathered and do that, oh my gosh, we move the world. And that's what it felt like. I was sitting right up here listening to her on the phone. And it was powerful. Thank you. Anyway, Jesus told us in John 14:12, he that believeth on me. People say in me. No, on me. Will also do the works that I do, and greater works than these will he do. Now, I've said this quote 50 million times probably, and I didn't catch the on before. But it changes the whole thing. Because it's not about, you thinking that something is in Jesus. It's the idea that Christ within something came, anyway. It's that idea of that Christ within, that we are focusing on the Christ within. And that's what Jesus did, focused on that Christ within. Jesus didn't claim to have the supernatural power that he did only, and he was exclusive to that. No. He wanted us, and he encouraged us to do what he did. And he said we will do it through the power of thought and word. Now, can we use this power that Jesus Christ used as the center of faith and focus our thoughts and words on truth? Are we capable of finding, connecting, and expressing our Christ within, our connection with God through faith? Are we capable?
Yes.
Are we willing?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And Fillmore taught us this. Have faith in the power of your mind to penetrate and release the energy that is pent up in the atoms of your body, and you will be astounded at the response. Paralyzed functions anywhere in the body can be restored to action by one speaking to the spiritual intelligence and life within them. And you know what? We have someone right here in this room that I know this happened to. And his name's Willie Baker. He was laying in a hospital bed, latent, and not expressing, and his body not moving. And look at him today. And I know that his family prayed, and we prayed here at the church. And everybody's energy built up that latent energy in him, and he's walking, and he's talking, and he's being the being that he is to be today.
Amen.
Amen is right. So these aren't words that were written in the 1940s. These are words we take in and soak into our beingness. Because it is for us today as much as it was back then. It's kind of like this magnet. This magnet will pick up anything that comes along. And we're like this magnet. We will pick up that latent energy and use it, or we'll pick up a bunch of miscellaneous crud and use it too. It's our choice. So what are you going to do? Are you going to use that energy that is within you to express that good that you are? I hope so. We just finished these last two classes on Charles and Myrtle's healing and wholeness, and I was thinking about the people in the class, and I'm thinking, there was a lot of great stuff in those books, because there was 4 books, and I thought to myself, what is it that I got from this? And that's where I got this message, was because I was thinking, what was it for me in these classes that was speaking to my soul, that was going to shift where I was at in that now moment? So I invited it in, is what I did. And sometimes we have to do that. We have to invite in what is ours to do. We can't say, oh, I'm going to do this today and I'm going to do that. No, sometimes we have to open up and say, okay, what is mine to do today? And it's amazing what can come for you. But through that class, I got this really neat passage from Christian Healing, which was Charles Fillmore's first book. In fact, it was written in 1909, I think it was. And I want to read it to you today, and I'm going to put it up on PowerPoint too for those of you that don't like out loud readings. Okay, it's the way it is. That the body is moved by thought is universally accepted. But that thought is also the builder of the body is not so widely admitted. We know that thought moves the various members of the body because we have constantly before us manifestations of the close sympathy between thought and act. Before I run, I think that I will run, and my legs begin to move swiftly in imagination before I begin the action outwardly. It was found by a system of experiments made at Harvard University that the thought of running causes the blood to rush to the legs. A man was put flat on his back on a balance beam, which was adjusted so that the least bit of added weight at head or foot registered on the index. When a perfect balance was attained, the man was given a problem in mathematics to solve. Immediately, the index showed increased weight at the head, indicating that the thought had called the blood there. Then he was told to imagine that he was running, and the index showed that added weight shifting to the feet. Here is the proof that thought not only moves the external members of the body, but that it controls the fluids flowing within the body. If thought so readily moves the blood from place to place, who shall say that it does not move the nerve fluid or that still more volatile substance, the magnetic force that pervades all organisms, which we know is God. Isn't that cool? And we know that Charles Fillmore was one of these guys that studied science to try to understand how spiritual laws work. Myrtle, just, intuitiveness, women, we just know these things. We just go in there and these happen and we know it and we do it. Men sometimes want to go to that analytical place and they want to prove that it's this way and this way and this way. And that's what Charles did. He studied the sciences so that he could see how these spiritual laws were working. But the good news is that he couldn't prove the spiritual laws wrong. In fact, he reinforced them, forced them with his readings, just like this says. And that's why these readings sing to our souls. That's why we know them as truth, because we know that it is so. And that's what faith is. Faith is that place where you know that it is so. How many moms have ever said, your kid's sitting there telling you something and you just know it's not the truth? You know? You know. You don't even have to have the proof. You just know that it's not true. It's that same kind of knowing when we know that God is with us, that we are one with God, and that's the kind of energy we tap into. If we have an example in our life that is working for us, we can use that as the basis for our spiritual experience. That's why I use the example of the mom knowing. But that is utilizing the power of faith in action. You see, I believe in denials and affirmations, and Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, healed herself through denials and affirmations. And she was healed. And in fact, the beautiful thing is, I just got one of these yesterday, or Friday, and in here is a story about Myrtle's healing in the New Daily Word. So again, God is working in and through us to bring the message forward even further. So when you get your daily word, read that article. But it's about her talking to her body and healing. And we've all heard this story before. And it took her 2 years. But you know what she did? She did not let that error thought, that thought that controlled the dis-ease, enter into her mind. If it started to come back into her mind, she denied the power she had been giving it and affirmed her truth. And that's what we have to do. We have to constantly go to that place so that we don't have any separation from God. The minute a thought starts entering our thought that makes us less than who we are, that divine expression, I mean, if God was a being standing here, would we say, oh, God, you're so stupid? You know, no, we wouldn't say that. Oh, God, you're too fat. You need to lose some weight. You know? We wouldn't do those kind of things. So we can't do those kind of things to ourselves, no matter what has happened in our lives. No matter what you've been finger-pointed for doing or not doing. We have to express that truth, and we deny anything less than. And a denial looks like this. This apparent pain has no power over me. Affirmation is, I am created in the image of God, blessed with strength, peace, and wholeness. I'm going to give you a cheat sheet at the end of the service that has this on it one side. And then it's going to have something else on the other side. But this is a powerful, and you can change it. This apparent weight has no power over me. I am created in the image of God, blessed with strength, peace, and wholeness, and I am healthy and the proper weight. You can change it for whatever. This apparent fear has no power over me. Whatever it is that you've got blocking that flow of God, whatever is separating you from God, fill in the blanks and change the word. And we're going to practice here for just a moment. Because in unity we behold each person as a complete, whole, and spiritual being. We look beyond the apparent signs of illness and know the truth that we are made of wholeness, that we are so whole and perfect. So we begin by knowing, and whatever is blocking the flow of God's energy no longer has power over us. So whatever it is that's popped into your mind when I read that denial, I want you to think about that right now and say to yourself, this apparent, whatever it is, has no power over me. I want you to say that right now, and then I want you to close your eyes, please. And just focus on that thing. The presence of God is moving in and through us, blessing and healing our entire body. I encourage each of you to focus your mind, your soul, your body on the presence of God within you. As you open up to pure faith that you are one with God, allow that energy to wash over you. Allow the love of God to move through every cell of your being. Encircle yourself with healing energy of wholeness and health, and visualize the strength and peace that you desire. Jesus said, for where two or more are gathered in my name, I am there among them. So we know in this time of prayer together, we are expressing the Christ within, the I am. The I am is the Spirit of God moving in and through us, and this is wholeness. Tap into this wholeness and know that God is with you. Know that we are holding each other in prayer, and together we are the everlasting love and faith of God in expression, bringing health and wholeness to each of us. And so it is. Amen. Feels good, right? You feel good? See, all we need to do is remember that spiritual healing that depends on that faith, on that knowing. And there cannot be faith if the mind is holding thoughts directly opposed to the possibility of healing. So we repeat these steps as often as we need to repeat them. We use the denials and affirmations as often as we need to prepare our minds and our thoughts and our words to follow that truth that our souls believe in, that our souls know is the truth, that knowing that you know. So we're going to go over the formula one more time. And this will be on the other side of that cheat sheet for the denial and affirmation that Dr. Barbara will give you on your way out. If we wish to heal ourselves or another, we hold with complete faith, health. We repeat the denials and affirmations, engaging the magnetic power of our faith. You can read it with me. We talk to our mind and body, knowing that God is health and wholeness. We open up our consciousness to the spiritual reality where all healing power originates, with God. Through faith we know, beyond a doubt, beyond fear, with the true power of faith, that our prayer is answered. And that is when we can have happy healing at last. Thank you for being here today.